All right. Well, the Eagles the last 2 weeks play the Buccaneers and Broncos. Ended up getting a win against the Buccaneers, ended up losing to the Broncos. I'll do a little recap of these 2 weeks and just overall summary on the season. Um, I thought the Eagles' first loss was going to be against the Buccaneers. We ended up getting a win. And then the Broncos game, I've been saying it all year long to everybody who's playing the Broncos, do not overlook them because they can easily beat you. Um, and yeah, the Eagles. Uh, this start to the season feels like 2023. Mainly with the offensive coaching. Kevin Patullo just doesn't look very good. Like in the Rams game, you had one half of action that was great, and that was the second half. The first half sucked, and then going into the Buccaneers game, first half was great, second half sucked. And then you go into the Broncos game and just overall the whole game plan sucked. Um, uh, Buccaneers game, you start off with a punt blocked by Cam Latu, which, by the way, the last 2 weeks with Cam Latu, this dude might end up making all pro this year as a special teamer. He blocks the punt, returns it 36 yards for a touchdown by Sidney Brown. Jalen Hurts threw a 2 yard touchdown to Dallas Goedert. It was a funky formation where there was nobody in the backfield. Jalen was under center, and you had a diamond formation with you had like a bunch formation to the right where you had three receivers and then got Goddard down low. And he just snaps it, pitches it, Goddard catches it, and then they like sneak him into the end zone. A cool play. Really cool. I've never seen that before from the Eagles, that is. It was a cool play. Um, Back-to-back personal fouls on the Eagles pushed the Bucks downfield after, and tempers were flaring by both teams at this point. The humidity was definitely getting to everybody in this game, including the Buccaneers. And Chase McLaughlin kicked a 32-yard field goal. It was a crazy game from Chase McLaughlin. Second quarter, Jalen Hurts threw a 5 yard touchdown on a shuffle pass to Dallas Goddard. They just keep shuffle passing. um, Jake Elliott ended up kicking a 39-yard field goal. McLaughlin kicked a 65-yard field goal. It was the second longest in NFL history officially. Obviously, we know about Cam Little's field goal in the preseason, but that's not official. Um, and the Eagles led 24-6 at halftime. It was best start I could have asked for. I thought this was the turning point in the season from those first couple weeks rust, but then the next 6 quarters of football for the Eagles were rough. Um, Buccaneers turned the ball over on downs at the Philadelphia 33-yard line. Baker Mayfield ended up throwing a 77-yard touchdown to Emeka Ibuka. Offense was starting to implode. Nobody was getting open. You couldn't run the ball. Defensively, this might have been one of the worst second halves of football I've seen out of Vic Fangio. And Vic, this is just how his defense plays. I knew we had this issue last year against the Buccaneers. Um, Jahad Campbell forced a fumble on Bucky Irving, and Keely Ringo recovered at the Tampa Bay 25-yard line. And Eagles, this was the last point where the Eagles' first half offense just completely faded. But that turnover Jahad Campbell forced ended up leading to a fake brotherly shove sweep with Saquon Barkley running in a 6 yard touchdown. But the Bucks just wouldn't let up. They did not care. Baker ended up throwing a 72-yard touchdown on Bucky Irving. Jahad Campbell was in coverage. It's just on a wheel, and he just couldn't beat him. He just beat him. Defense was getting beat right now. There was too much time Baker was getting, and that's something I've noticed the last couple weeks is that the quarterbacks are getting more time in the second half throwing the ball, and that's tough because you have this defense relies on pressure from the front that and putting less pressure on the corners, and this ended up putting a lot of stress on the corners, and you lead to play these big plays like this. Fourth quarter, Chase McLaughlin kicked a 58-yard field goal. At this point, it was crazy. Then the Eagles. This series of events was just the dumbest three-play sequence that I've seen in a very long time from the Eagles, probably since 2023. You run three straight curls thrown to AJ Brown. Like, how stupid of play calling could you get? Three straight curls, and then it leads to just a punt because it was clear and obvious. I mean, I don't. There was Jalen's first read all three times. AJ Brown running a curl, curl, curl. Of course, the defense is gonna be like, oh, he just ran a curl twice. Maybe they're gonna run a curl a third time. Yeah, just stupid play calling, moronic play calling. I mean, I know 6 year olds who could easily have a better understanding of maybe we shouldn't run the same play over and over and over again. Baker ended up throwing an interception to Jahad Campbell. That was really the game setter because that turnover really took the air out of the balloon for the Bucks comeback, even though they were still in the game. I mean, this was in the end zone. Jahad Campbell's just perfect timing. Um, ends up being a touchback. The Heat was getting to the defense. They were missing tackles even on Baker Mayfield. Um, Bucks ultimately turned the ball over on downs at the Philadelphia 35-yard line. Uh, Punter Braden Mann ended up running into the back in the end zone for a safety with no time just to run out the clock, make sure the Bucks didn't get the ball, and the Eagles ended up winning 31-25. Um, I mean, it was. I mean, if I expected this game to be hard, I didn't. I thought this was going to be the hardest game on the Eagles' schedule was playing the Bucks because they just don't ever do well against the Bucks. And I think they were overconfident with that game, and they went into the Broncos game with their heads held high, saying, "Oh, we're 4-0. We're one of two teams who are 4-0." And this was just bad coaching performance. Now, all week leading to this game. Now, and I'll take a step back. For the last like 3, 4 years, there the there's always been like one week where the Eagles, the media does this. You guys suck. And I know I'm I'm basically a hypocrite posting this on YouTube. But the media sucks. Okay? Cuz you do this every year where where AJ Brown will say something. Now, all right. I don't agree or disagree with AJ Brown's statements. Um but it's just the way he handles it I don't agree with. But then Devonte Smith comes out and also says that. Now, when you got Devonte Smith speaking up, I'll listen to you because Devonte Smith, he's a quiet dude. I mean, not on the field. Like he, if you ever see him mic'd up, it's very different. But when Devonte's speaking about his frustrations, I'm gonna listen to him every single time. Because he never does that. So normally, when you have a week like this, over the last couple years, we've had this at least once, where the media is like, see, the Eagles need to be throwing the ball more. You need to get your playmakers the ball. And then we end up having the biggest passing game of the year every single time. And in this game, Jalen threw the ball a lot, had a lot, like 280 passing yards. It could have had more if they were connected on some of the passes, but we were throwing the ball a ton and we weren't running the ball. So we were losing possession of the clock. Broncos had all the momentum all game long because we kept passing the ball. That is not fundamentally how this offense should be ran. That is how we have sucked any of our losses over the last few years is that you need to be able to control the clock. That's what when the Eagles control the clock, they're the best team in football, hands down. Um, and this game, no offense to Devonte Smith or AJ Brown, as much as I love them both, But all that talk about getting the ball, you got the ball, and guess what? We lost. And you even had the chance of a lifetime to end the game on a Hail Mary. You had the ball and you didn't win. So you have to make a choice. Do you want the ball or do you want to win? That's that that's my question. And I know your answer is going to be, I of course I want to win. Of course. So and that's the difference between Saquon and Jalen Hurts and some other players in this league. Jalen doesn't care if he touches the ball once as long as he wins the game. Saquon also doesn't care. Both of them feed on each other doing that. And then you have AJ Brown who's like, "Well, I want the ball. We won 50 to nothing, but I didn't get the ball once." Dude, you just won a Super Bowl going this same route. All that matters is winning the game. And there are a lot of fan bases that don't understand that. They think, "Oh, well, I won 50 to nothing, but our best receiver didn't get the ball enough." And I'm like, "You won the game. It's not like college. It's not like college at all. Like this is the NFL. All that matters is winning." So I don't agree with the way this was done, and I heard that Saquon, AJ, and Jalen all had a meeting together, and it was very positive. Which of course they have these meetings, um, and hopefully this was a learning experience, sort of like the Buccaneers game last year. Hopefully this is the turning point. And look, I trust AJ. I trust Devontae. I trust Jalen. I trust Saquon. I trust all of those players in that locker room right now. There's not a single player in that locker room I don't trust. Who I don't trust is Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. I have a lack of trust in Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni has made questionable decisions. I don't think Nick Sirianni's done anything bad this year. I think Nick Sirianni's done a lot of great things this year so far. Um, but I question Kevin Patullo. Uh, I mean, you go into this game, you give Saquon the ball like what, six rushes? It like six rushes? Are you kidding me? This guy just won Offensive Player of the Year, and he just ran for 2,000 yards. He could have broken he literally broke the most rushing yards in an entire season, including the playoffs last year. And you want to give him the ball six times? You got to be the dumbest person in America. Oh my goodness. So in this game, I mean, I'll look at some of the plays. I mean, both kickers traded field goals to start the game. Jalen threw a 52-yard pass to Devontae Smith on third and long, which for prior to this point in the season, I have been telling people, oh, if it's third and 7 or longer, we just do a draw to whoever the running back is, and we give up. And I hate that. I hate that. That is just pure. That's just disgusting to call that. Like you don't like you just straight up don't have a third and long play in your playbook. That's what I saw all year long. And finally, I mean, I messaged people. I was like, "Oh, look, a third down pass. Finally." Only took the 5 weeks through the season. And it was a great ball, great catch. Um, AJ Brown was getting the ball on Patrick Surtain. Surtain is obviously one of the best corners. He was Defensive Player of the Year. You're throwing the ball against Defensive Player of the Year. I thought AJ Brown did well. Could he have gotten the ball more? Yeah, maybe. He's also playing the Defensive Player of the Year. And Devontae Smith is going against Riley Moss. And I actually would have rather had Devontae on Surtain because the last time Devontae played Surtain, he did well. And he scored a touchdown against Surtain. And I knew if Surtain plays the wide receiver one more than any other corner in football, so I understood Surtain was going to be on AJ Brown the whole game. But Surtain, like I would have rather had Surtain on Devontae Smith, um, because but that's nothing the Eagles control at all. That's great game planning by the Broncos. But I still think AJ Brown did well regardless. Um Jalen ended up throwing a 2-yard touchdown to Dallas Goedert. Eagles led 10-3 at halftime. Um Third quarter, I thought we were gonna have a big second half, and that just got deflated by play calling. Jalen threw a 47-yard touchdown to Saquon Barkley. Um, in fact, after this game, we found out that the touchdown Hurts threw to Goddard was a play made and decision made by Jalen Hurts to call, which I was like, oh wow. And then Saquon comes out and says that play wasn't in our playbook. That was something that Jalen wanted. And I'm like, so is Jalen Hurts our offensive coordinator now? Like, it was a great play. I mean, I've been watching Saquon do wheel routes since Penn State, and he's just awesome at it. He's done it great with the Giants. He did it fantastic with the Giants. I remember doing it with the Giants, and I don't know why you wouldn't have him do it more. And Jalen's like, no, we're gonna throw it to Saquon on a wheel route. It's a 47-yard touchdown. Um, this and then in the third quarter we get the big miss that everybody's looking at as uh there was a mistimed throw that ended up incomplete, stalling a drive to AJ Brown deep. I see both sides of it. There are some people who are like, "Oh, it's Jalen's fault," and that's just stupid to say it's Jalen's fault. And I don't even blame. I don't put a lot of the blame on AJ Brown. AJ did slow down in his route, and yeah, he does that quite a bit. Uh, I don't, but I don't. He should have kept running, right? But I do think if he kept running, I don't think the ball is completed, and I think it's a little overthrown. So I think that was just a miss on both of them, and even AJ admitted after the game. I think we just missed, and I think that's what happened. Like I believe AJ. I believe Jalen. I mean, Jalen took this whole loss. He blamed the whole loss on himself. I'm like, dude, what? You were out there calling plays. Like it's the 50s. Um, yeah, I think it was just a mistimed ball. Like I don't blame AJ for that. I don't blame Jalen for that. It's just a miss overall. Jalen's got to throw that a little bit. He can't put as much power on it, and AJ shouldn't be slowing down. So that's just a miss. It happens. It happens quite a bit. Um, like I think Jalen had another miss later on in this game. I think it was to Devontae Smith. That I think was a miss. I thought Jalen had a good game, but and he hasn't thrown an interception this year, which I think that's very not. I don't think that's talked about quite as much as it should be. But either way, um, fourth quarter, I mean, I run defense just wasn't very good. It's almost like we need another defensive tackle, but like just the run defense isn't doing very good. It's like we're defending the pass and we're just not defending the run whatsoever. J.K. Dobbins ended up running in a 2-yard touchdown. Uh, Cam Latu, I keep talking about him. He made an unbelievable tackle on special teams. Um, and to almost stall the drive. Bo Nix ended up throwing a touchdown to Evan Ingram. 2-point conversion was completed to Troy Franklin. So that 2-point conversion ended up making it to where the Eagles needed to score a touchdown and not a field goal. Um, the penalties on the Eagles was a clear issue in this specific game. Yeah, if that's probably my only knock on Sirianni. I think there was a lack of discipline overall in this whole season, even with like someone like Jalen Carter and his penalties this whole season. But overall, the penalties in this game, I think the Eagles were just out coached against the Broncos on a very elite coaching staff led by Sean Payton. Um, Will Lutz ended up kicking a 36-yard field goal, or no. So the 2-point conversion made it so where Denver got the lead. Will Lutz kicked the 36-yard field goal, so the Eagles now are driving down the field. There was severe lack of urgency, and I've seen stats and stuff showing like the urgency from the Eagles, and overall over the last like 4 years, the Eagles have been one of the least urgent teams in the whole league. Now, I think a lot of that has to say like during that time frame, the Eagles have had a lead quite a bit, or if they've been in close games where they don't need to hurry up so much. And this was the first game in I think a very long time where I didn't feel like where I felt like we needed to be urgent, and there wasn't. And this was the first time I think I've ever been frustrated with Jalen Hurts. And I know he's a very calm dude. Sometimes you need that guy to, like an AJ Brown type, to be like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Like you ever see that video of Matt Stafford saying clock it, waving his hands all over the place, looking like a crazy man? Sometimes you need that. And there was no urgency with this drive. And Jalen throws up a Hail Mary. I look, some people are going to talk about PI and stuff like that. I've been so numb to pass interference for the last like 6 years. I don't even I assume every play is going to be a pass interference or every play isn't going to be pass interference. So you just at this point in the NFL, you just have to have that mindset whatsoever. Um, so Jalen throws up a Hail Mary. I think it hits Devontae in the hands, but gets swatted out by the Broncos players. Um, Ended up being incomplete during on the play, which I never even thought about it before. But Jalen throws the ball up. As soon as he throws it, he takes off. One of the fastest I've ever seen Jalen run, and he takes off running to see if maybe he could catch a deflection and score a touchdown. And I'm like, you're crazy, dude. Like I don't think that would ever work. But like that doesn't mean the odds are it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just the odds are very low of that happening. But he takes off. Obviously, he's not even close to it. But I respect his effort on that. Um, Overall, this was just I expected to be passing a line this game with the way the media pushed the narrative with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and not passing the ball enough, even though we were 4-0. And this is where you just need to block out the media. Like I personally, I love the way Saquon and Jalen and Devontae all approach the media. Like they don't really talk on socials and stuff. They have other people running it. And but AJ's a very outspoken dude. I've seen talks about trade talks with AJ Brown, and I'm like, I don't think AJ's going anywhere. Um, Even if we end up going below 500 this year, I don't think AJ Brown's going anywhere. Um, I mean, unless if he continues with this throughout this season, then we could see a situation where I'm like, yeah, we gotta maybe make a trade for another receiver and trade him away. But otherwise, I'm very confident. I mean, this is still a Super Bowl champion lineup right here. You're not gonna win them all. And I had this conversation with multiple people, and you can't expect to go undefeated every year. You always got to expect to lose because if you don't lose that game, then you'll never know what loss was. You need to experience loss in order to truly appreciate winning. Maybe that's my Jalenisms for today is that right there. Um, with all the Jalen Hurts quotes and I love the Twitter page. That's great. Um, but you need to experience loss in order to truly appreciate winning. So this is one of those games, just like the Buccaneers game last year. You need to experience these losses. Not everybody, no, I mean that's why the 72 Dolphins are the 72 Dolphins because they were a team with an identity. Then their starting quarterback gets hurt. They find a new identity, then they drop that guy and bring back the other guy. Nobody was prepared for that team whatsoever. So not everybody can be the 72 Dolphins. You got to lose some games, and this game you're just out coached. So with that being said, I mean, with one loss, Eagles got a short week. They're playing the Giants. I actually thought maybe the Eagles' first loss after the Bucks game would be against the Giants, just because you're playing against Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo. It's possible the Eagles are underprepared playing against rookies. But it's possible going into Thursday that the Eagles are going to play angry. That they're going to be looking at this loss and just playing with fire. So I I'm very interested to see how tomorrow goes. You'll probably see this tomorrow, so I'll be interested to see how Thursday night goes. But with that being said, I'll see you next week. And recapping the Eagles Giants game, and yeah, go Birds.